So we're talking about chitta. So Krishna leaves us with some slight confusion. Because when we open the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the supplement and the expansion of Bhagavad Gita, we find that the Srimad Bhagavatam tells us there are not 3 aspects or 3 divisions of the Linga Sharir. There are 4. There are 4 divisions. So therefore, Krishna's energy is not 8, Ashta Prakrita, it's Nava, no Prakrita. So, hey, Krishna's a liar? Krishna's lying? He says, does everyone understand what I'm saying? Are you clear? I read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says 8. But I read Puranas and I read other Shastras and they say there's 9. And the Yoga Vashishta or in the other Yoga Shastra says there's 9. There's 4 divisions of the subtle body. Oh, this ISKCON cheated me. No, we also gave you the Bhagavatam. It also mentions Kapila Muni. He's a yogi. Kapila is a great yogi. He's a Gyan yogi, Bhakti, Gyan Mishra Bhakta. And he's telling, we'll read the verse, that there's 4 levels, and Prabhupada explains in the purport, there's 4 levels of the subtle body. So I met with some sadhus, some Siddha saints in Vrindavan, and I had a discussion about it. I said, what is this chitta? Because everyone from day one, baby Bhakta Joe, Cheta Davanamarjanam. The very first Sanskrit word that every baby Bhakta learns in ISKCON, he goes to Mangalartik. And after Mangalartik, he sits down, and they hand him a piece of paper. Okay, now, we're all going to chant this Shikshastakam. 1, 2, 3. Chaito Davanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kai Ravi Chandra Kavijarna. And somehow everyone sleeps through the prayer without the slightest, vaguest idea what it means. But the very first word of that prayer is what? Chaita. Chaita means chitta. C-H, sometimes I spell it that, but C-H-I-T-T-A, or C, which means cha, C-H-I-T-T-A, chitta. So when I had this discussion, and then because this discussion was made, then this person is quite a vidvan in Bhagavad Tattva, he's a Gaudiya Vaishnava, he took out the Bhagavatam, he says, Swamiji, here's the verse. So then he opened the very same book that we're reading and studying right now, 3rd Canto, Part 4. And he opened it up to chapter, he had a little pink thing in his book like this, because he knew I was coming. Then he said, Swamiji, Deko. 3rd Canto Bhagavatam, chapter 26, verse 14. Mano buddhira hankarash chittam ityantar atmakam chaturda lakshyate bedo vritya lakshana rupaya. Bhagavan Kapila Muni said, the internal subtle senses, and that is a translation of anta atmakam. Anta means anta, it means inside, same as Hindi. Anta atmakam. Atmakam, the word atma has different meanings. It means body. Body has senses. Sharir, indriya. So atma means sharir, or you say sharir or deha or whatever. Means body, and it also means senses. And it means atma, it means jivatma, the anti-material particle, the spiritual particle, the jiva, the soul. And atma means mind. Sanskrit has many meanings and shades of meaning depending on the context of the shloka and the sandesh, the philosophy. So here, Srila Prabhupada is describing antar atmakam, chaturda. He's saying the Linga Sharira has 4 divisions. Kapila Muni is saying the Linga Sharira has 4 divisions, which means there's not only 3 aspects of the subtle body which Gita teaches, because this, of course, is graduate study. Yes? The Gita, we don't want to we get too many details when we first start. We may blow a fuse. We may blow one of our mental fuses. Boom! Can't understand it all. So now Bhagavatam is for the graduates. and beginners also, but at least someone that's had some grasp or understanding of Bhagavad Gita, then he can understand the Bhagavatam. So here it's saying there are 4 aspects of the Linga Sharira. There's 4 divisions: Man, Buddhi, Hankara, and Chitta, which is, as I mentioned, is described as, translated as consciousness. So sometimes Chitta means consciousness, awareness, Jagrata, Susupti, Swapna. But now in this case, consciousness or Chitta means not that Susupti, not that awareness, but part of the covering of the Jiva. Because beyond the false ego, there's another layer. These are all like subtle things. It's very hard to conceptualize and visualize these concepts and the interactions and interplay of these aspects of our subtle being are rather esoteric and rather refined. But let's try to understand it. He says, Bhagavan Kapila Muni, the internal subtle senses are experienced as having 4 aspects. You heard that? Chaturdha, not 3. But there, Kapila is saying, Kapila is also a Shakti Avesh of Krishna, he's saying the subtle body has 4 aspects. And what are they? Mind, Man, intelligence, Buddhi, ego, Hankara, and Chitta. And then, since he's talking about the living entity bound in the material world, this is the discussion here. He translates Chitta as contaminated consciousness, because Chitta means consciousness. This is the second level. Distinctions between these 4 aspects of the subtle body, Linga Sharira, can be made only by different functions. In other words, you can only understand what these are. What is Chitta? What is Buddhi? What is Man? What is false ego, Ahankara? By the way they work. Namaste. By the way they act. By the way Chitta acts like this. Mind works like this. You understand? Ahankara works like this. He's telling you. Distinctions between these 4 can be made. In other words, you can understand what because someone might say it's all one. Oh, Chitta, Ahankara is the same as intelligence. So there's Bhed. Bhed means distinction. It's not homogeneous, oneness. There's distinction. So then distinction between them can be made only by different functions, since these 4 aspects of the subtle body represent different characteristics. This now back to the verse. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he understands that the real problem with the Buddha Jiva, the real problem with the conditioned soul is Chitta. And don't get confused, because you're Hindi people, don't get confused with the word Chitta and Chaitana, or Chinta. You may get confused. There's Chitta, there's Chaitana, and there's Chinta. What I'm speaking now is giving you a lot of Chinta. My discussion of Chitta is causing your Chaitan a lot of Chintan. Is that correct? Good. Okay. Vishnu, 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 Prabhupada! Chup karo. That's a very clever thing I said. And how was I able to say it? Mukam karoti vachalam, pangam langayate gurim, yat kripadam aham bande, shiguram dinataranam, paramananda madhavam. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangu langayate girim. A lame, a crippled man with one leg or no legs. Girim langate, he can cross over, take on the mountains, giri. Mukam karoti vachalam. Mukam karoti. A muk, a stupid fool. Karoti vachalam. He can speak poetry. He can speak riddles. He can speak philosophy, tarka, naya, sandesh, everything. By Guru Kripa he keva. Only by the mercy of the spiritual master can a worm become a butterfly. Can a creamy become a patang? Is that right? A worm, creamy, become a butterfly. Patang. Like, that's also the name for kite, isn't it? Patang. Flying your kite. This is kite season in Radhakund. All the kids are flying kites because there's a lot of wind.